851, turn right heading 180. Order 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
Hey everyone, welcome to DJ's Aviation. The Boeing 777 is quite the workhorse among many different airlines, with some building their fleet around the twin-engine plane. With a new 777X series launching from 2020 with airlines, Qantas is yet to place an order for not only the 777X series, but also the classic 777. Why is that though? You'd be probably at a loss to think why, because from all aspects, the Boeing 777 would probably fit the operations within Qantas quite nicely. We'll begin with the order and fleet situation. For long-haul operations, Qantas utilised their 787-9s, Airbus A380s, 747-400s, and the A330-300s. These four aircraft are currently used for different purposes, with the A330-300s mainly being placed on busy domestic flights a few times a week from, let's say, Melbourne to Sydney, and then mainly on flights to Asian cities. The A380 and 747 are used on routes with high demand. For example, the A380 has recently begun serving popular Asian destinations while still operating to the USA. The 787-9 is still currently finding its feet and has begun the all-important Perth to London non-stop service, and soon will also be beginning other flights, for example to San Francisco. Right now it seems the airline is very well equipped, but if we backtrack 5 to 10 years, it was deemed to be the complete opposite. If you didn't know, the 787s with Qantas were in fact heavily delayed, and this put off a lot of things within the carrier. They had wanted to have those 787s delivered as early as possible, so they could begin operations with the Airbus A380. However, in reality, it would be a decade after the A380s arrived before the majority of the 787s would start piling in. This is where the need for the 777 comes in. Qantas were noted to have a key role in helping design the original 777, yet didn't place an order. Essentially, Qantas had a plan worked out, and even though that plan, which involved the 787s, quickly fell apart, the purchase or lease of even a few 777s would have been costly. If the carrier was quick to order the 777s at that point, it may have just ended up arriving at the exact same time as the 787s. On top of all of this, Qantas would need to invest in the training of Qantas staff to work on the Boeing 777s, when there was actually no guarantee they would have them for a very long time. The Airbus A330s, as mentioned earlier, can be found across all major cities in Australia, and now have an extended presence in Asia. With Qantas operating both A330ceo variants, it has offered them a lot of flexibility over the years. As I touched on earlier, while the A330-300 is more designed to operate with Qantas to the likes of Singapore and Hong Kong, and of course more, from the eastern side of Australia, when needed, it is perfectly able to operate from Melbourne to Sydney. While you certainly can't compare the 777 and the A330 as they are two completely different aircraft, if Qantas were to have ordered the 777 years back, it wouldn't have offered them the same flexibility. In turn, that A330 is cheaper and does allow for more flexibility within the carrier. With the A380s also already operating with Qantas, they opted not to order the 777. In addition, the restriction of the routes that the 777 could have operated on would have been far too great, but times do change, as I'll move on to later in this video. While Qantas is known as the Spirit of Australia, on top of all of this, I cannot be too biased, and do have to acknowledge, while Qantas are not necessarily an airline with two planes, they certainly aren't an airline like Delta or United, with operations stretching to all corners of the globe. While Qantas have flights to Santiago and Johannesburg, there are so many markets which are still untouched. These markets weren't in the question years ago when the 777 was of interest, but now they are. With Project Sunrise, the new 777X series has become a favourite with the A350 to lead the way for these new 22-hour-long flights, which will finally allow Qantas to dive into those markets it is yet to touch. As Alan Joyce says, this will be the final frontier of aviation. To conclude, the 777 would have certainly been a nice aircraft to have within the Qantas fleet, but a number of key reasons, like the 787s, A380s and A330s, among more technical aspects, contributed to the choice to not order the 777. For die-hard Boeing fans though, the interest for the 777X and Project Sunrise may give you the opportunity to see a 777 in Qantas colours eventually. I'd like to thank you very much for watching this video of mine, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the next one.
and we'll fly.